Hey everyone, Donter here. There are many artists in the Pokemon TCG, and it's my goal to cover as many as I can, so I can help you, the viewer, determine which one of these fantastic artists can hold the spaces of your binders or the slabs in your room. You might find a new favorite card, or a new favorite artist. I'm currently attempting to hit 500 subscribers, so if you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to see more content regarding the artists of the Pokemon TCG. And if there's an artist that you'd like to see reviewed next, then let me know in the comments below. Welcome to the Pokemon Artist Review. In today's video, we'll be talking about Akagi. Akagi started illustrating cards in a set Paldean Fates, released January 26th, 2024, and has illustrated 12 cards, including any reprints they may have, which they do not have. They're a very recent artist. Akagi has this incredible style that really seems to resonate with people. This artist got their start with one of the most talked about modern cards, with their crazy Palafin illustration, and has only continued to seriously impress me and others with their hyper-detailed and expressive illustrations. So, I'm excited to talk about everything there is to know about the artist Akagi. The criteria for this video will be as follows: detail, color, and aura. For my first point, I want to talk about Akagi's detail. There's always this supreme level of fantastic detail laced into every illustration that Akagi has to their name, such as in that Palafin illustration I was talking about earlier. The colors and the shading of the bubbles mix with the area of the water around the Palafin, with the swimming smaller Palafin swimming all in different directions in the back. You can really get this sense of deep detail with the water shading all around the Pokemon who's standing with this seriously menacing shiny detail, which is just stunning to look at, honestly. The way that Akagi does their shading is seriously impressive, always giving their cards this really heavy, weighty effect, which is really cool to see. In the Mightyena from Temporal Forces, you can also see the individual strands of thin grass all around the Pokemon, which is honestly awesome to see, as well as little small patches of water around the Pokemon as well in the background. I really like the texturing on Mightyena's fur. It does look layered, giving some additional life to the Pokemon featured in the illustration, which I personally really appreciate. Next, I want to talk about Akagi's color. Their colors seem to always bleed out of their illustrations, always giving the viewer something to stare at. I think I'm just going to jump out and talk about the Greninja from Twilight Masquerade. Yes, the elusive, expensive chase card from the set Twilight Masquerade. This card is dope, but here's why. It's not just the fact that Greninja's in a really cool pose, crossing his arms and legs staring down at the camera. Nah, it's those crazy colors all around the Pokemon. It looks like a paint bucket was spilled and exploded behind the Pokemon, which I seriously find awesome. I really love how you have this really deep shade of red towards the bottom, and it shifts to orange in the middle, and yellow at the top. The nice water shurikens that Greninja is known for really break up that color with nice shades of blue as well. I think that crystallized effect on the Pokemon is also really stunning as well. It adds some nice texture that you really wouldn't be able to see if it was just a normal Pokemon. Obviously, you can tell there's a lot of attention and care put into this card, even if you don't like it. There's just so much raw detail in the illustration that it's seriously impressive. And for my other example, I wanted to mention the low kicks from Stellar Crown. Something that I really appreciate about this card is not only the perspective, but I also just like how that pokey part of Low Kick's back is illustrated, with it pointing towards the camera, showing us shades of white, gold, and a more deeper amber color towards the top of the spike. The really nice sky is also awesome to look at. It's got a nice range of shades of orange, pink, and purple. I really like how the Pokemon is shaded as well. It makes it feel very, very powerful. Finally, I'd like to point out how all of Akagi's illustrations have this crazy aura to them. They really put their all into making the Pokemon in their illustrations look crazy, and seriously cool. In the Ceruledge EX from Prismatic Evolutions, the Pokemon is surrounded by a swirling chaotic field of blazing fire as it slices towards the camera with its left arm facing directly towards the camera and its right arm moving towards the background. We see the Pokemon's face staring directly at the camera, which makes it a menacing illustration of the Pokemon. It seriously looks awesome. And I know people probably still don't like the crowns, and I'm not defending them, but the glow irradiating from it is pretty cool in my opinion, and it is used quite well in this card. Finally, for cards with some serious aura, we had that Kingdra Scarlet and Violet promo. This card has this crazy traditional Japanese style to it that just has so much aura. This Pokemon looks incredibly cool, riding the waves as they crash up onto it, with that deep yellow moon in the background, and the green background raising behind the waves. Overall, this Kingdra card looks amazing. It's so nicely detailed, and it just is such a stunning card that really looks incredible. And now, let me talk about my top 3 favorite cards from Akagi. In no particular order, here we go. Firstly, I have that Ceruledge EX from Prismatic Evolutions. I really love how the Pokemon is drawn in this illustration. I think the pose of the arms on this card are super supreme. The Pokemon feels so lively and just so cool as it swings one of its arms backwards. It's a really captivating card in my opinion, which is a good reason as to its popularity. I'm sure a lot of people just think it's really awesome, me included. Next, I've got the Palafin illustration rare from Paldean Fates. This card has some crazy strong feeling of impending doom from the Pokemon, as it just stares blankly into your eyes from the distance. It's just such a comprehensive and wonderful illustration. And finally, I have that Greninja EX from Twilight Masquerade. Something I love about this card so much is just the pose of the Pokemon. I know that I just talked about the fact that it wasn't just the pose, but the pose does definitely add something to it. I think it makes the whole illustration come together as this cohesive illustration, making the Pokemon look really cool, like it's not even trying, with this crazy display of colors and coolness in the back. And that was Akagi. Something that I really appreciate about Akagi's cards is that their illustration rare cards or their special illustration rare cards never feels compromised. They always feel so special. It makes you really appreciate how crazy and cool the Pokemon are in it when they are just so characterized. And that's a big reason as to why I like the cards like the Greninja and the Ceruledge. It just gives these Pokemon these awesome personalities that make you really appreciate them not only as cards, but as characters. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by liking and commenting, as well as considering subscribing to the channel. I cover everything you need to know about Pokemon card artists. If you want to see more of these kinds of videos, I have a playlist on my channel for the Pokemon Artist Review. And with that, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.